Get it? That would have been much more funny if I had an actual bear figure. Hear that, Hasbro? Make me a grizzly. Or even better, an Ursa Major. Yeah. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today I'm looking at the Funko Magic the Gathering Legacy Collection. I'm going to butcher this name. Ajani Goldmane. This is the only one I've picked up so far. Packaging, standard Funko fare. I'm not even going to try to list those names right there. Packaging is nice. I like the boxes, but it's trash to me. Let's get him out of the package. And here we go. Mr. Goldmane out of the package. Initial thoughts, mixed bag. There's some things I love, and some things I don't really, I wouldn't say hate. Such a strong word. Dislike, maybe? It's hard to point out exactly what I slightly dislike about this figure. All the plastic is really well done. I mean, it's hard plastic. There's almost an oily feel to it. So I may have to wash them down. It's slick on some of the pieces. It's such a hard plastic. There's no really soft on the actual figure itself. Now, all the overlay is very, very soft rubber. The tail is a rubber piece attached to the back, and it just kind of flops around. It's not really posable. Let's get rid of it. Big ass axe. We'll get to the weapons here in a minute. I think what throws me off on this is the amount of overlays. It feels like as soon as I get a pose I like, I have to fiddle with the shoulder piece or the cloak or the waist piece. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm not trying to say it's not fantastically detailed. Everything is nicely sculpted. It just adds so much to the figure, but it also takes away from the figure because of everything going on. Now, first of all, this is going to kill the right arm right off the bat. You can come up, but it kind of just floats above. And what's weird, there's another sculpted piece, a shoulder armor type piece under. You would think this would be removable, which I've already removed it to see what was going on there, and let's take a look at that. It's just a big rubber piece. And then you have the shoulder armor sculpted underneath, but the straps are attached to pegs underneath this shoulder armor, right here and here. So if you pull this off, you just have loose straps that don't really go anywhere. Same with this side. There's a peg there that you could probably glue to make it look right, but it's just, it attaches. Well, I guess I ripped that one off. So it's supposed to attach there. And this, I don't know, I kind of like them better like this. This is more action figure, I guess. This is more going to the royal ball, or, you know, holding court for all his people. And as you can probably tell, I know nothing about Magic the Gathering. I just like cool toys. This is why I picked it up. Now this, again, is another overlay, but it's pegged in, so you're not going to be able to pull it off easily and just leave them with a bare chest. It's pegged in back here too, but otherwise it's loose. And it took me a minute to figure out that there is torso articulation, but it's under that strap, so you get a little bit, but we'll go over the articulation here in a minute. He has a necklace sculpted onto the torso piece. These are soft overlays. His thigh leathers, He has a sheath hanging from his belt. And this whole piece is loose, so you could probably remove this too. I cannot fault the sculpting whatsoever. Everything nicely detailed. Now, when it comes down to paint, I've already noticed he's just a flat white with some details punched in. I think he'd look a lot better with a wash or even a different color. White doesn't really... it's okay, but it doesn't really do it for me. The face falls flat too. It loses a lot of detail. There's braids here and hair and scar, but it's just kind of lost all in the sea of white. But surprisingly, the eye right here is nicely painted. So I couldn't tell you if these are tattoos, then they're just kind of poorly done. Everything is the figure itself, plain white. All the armor pieces in that, nicely painted. For what little paint there is, just like gold rivets, ribbons. Articulation wise, his head doesn't get a lot of movement side to side because of all the hair. He has some up and down. Not going to get side to side. He has a long mane for a lion guy. Hinge and swivel shoulders. Elbows get pretty good range of movement. Good thing about that, I can move that out of the way. About 90 degrees. His hands swivel. And then they hinge. It's kind of hindered by the big wrist wrap there. He does have a torso joint. Can't really see it. It just kind of floats on top. Doesn't get a lot. I'm not sure if he has a waist. Nope, no waist. Hinge and swivel hips. Forward. Because this is so soft, it just moves right out of the way. Not back so much. He's got an ass right there. Thigh swivel, nicely hidden. You break the line though, and it kind of just it breaks the line. Knee joint on ratchets, 90 degrees. Hind leg articulation. Gets good movement. And the big foot paws swivel, and there's a hinge. Not a lot of... Well, there is some side to side. I don't understand how that joint works yet. I need to investigate further. But there is a little side to side, which is good for stability. The size of his feet are good for stability. I haven't played with them enough to get them into the poses I want. I don't know if you can stand them straight up. Nope. Kind of loses it. Needs some glue right there. But he does look good crouched down, you know. Like any good lion man should. He does have a bicep swivel. And the thing to watch out for, his claws are sharp. You're trying to fiddle with the weapons, put them in his hands, and you're going to get puncture marks. Just really sharp. Not used to that. But that brings another problem in trying to hold his weapons. This works okay. This double axe, that has a lot of good sculpting on it. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be. A lion head, maybe? Tiger head. Same on the other side. Actually, it looks like it's the same head on both sides. This one has leather wrap. This one has some kind of fur. Big stick in the middle. And he can hold this pretty well with his open type hand. This hand, you're not going to get much of anything because I mentioned how sharp these claws are. It's because it's a hard plastic. You can't really pry this hand open. He's stuck in a politician pose. Now his sword does have a small handle, but you can't get it in there. This isn't a hard plastic, but it's not a soft, but it's easily warpable. You can see the curve into it, and you can't get this in here without fear of breaking it. The shoulder pad's gonna have to be glued. Sorry for that, keep flopping around. But he does come with a sheath for his sword. The sheath is split all the way down. You can just place the sword right into it, and it looks fine right there. Let's get him ready for court. If you don't want to reattach the straps underneath, you just take his head and kind of shove the cloak under it right there, and it stays on pretty well. I say that, why isn't it staying on pretty well? There we go. He's kind of top heavy, plus the weight is shunted forward with his legs being as they are, so he has a tendency to kind of wobble. I haven't found that sweet spot yet. Move his center of gravity back a little bit, it'd probably stand better. Now, I've seen a lot of requests for this comparison with the Masters of the Universe Classics. What the hell is this guy's name? And it looks pretty good. He looks like an elder statesman, warrior. It kind of works. Little wash, little paint work. You could display him on your master shelf, no problem, I think. As the grizzled old, "Oh, you kids get off my lawn." Here he is with the standard Bucky body Marvel Legends figure. Bit big, but it works. I mean, how big is a mutant human lion supposed to be? All in all, I like the figure. I'm happy to have a regal lion on my shelf. But at the same time, as an action figure, he's kind of frustrating only because of everything that's going on with him. The overlays and stuff getting in the way, but that's a personal preference. I don't like that kind of stuff. That's like on small G.I. Joes with all the bandoliers and the weapons and all that kind of stuff. I just get frustrated trying to get him into a decent pose that I like. I don't regret at all buying him, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do some tweaking and some modifications. I'm gonna have to do some gluing down and maybe some pulling off. We'll see what goes on, but I'm happy to have them. Just a little nitpicks here and there. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the Fwoosh.